For this month's spam, I read the book Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. Ready Player One takes place in a dystopian future, the year 2044. The world is so polluted and corrupt that people just go into the VR world known as the Oasis, where anything is possible. People love it here, so they stay there for hours, even days at a time. But the creator of the Oasis has just died and left his massive fortune and full ownership of the Oasis inside the game. In order to find this massive fortune, you have to solve a series of puzzles and challenges based on 1980s pop culture. Sounds fun, right? Wrong. There are people and companies willing to do anything for that money. They will even kill people. The book follows the adventures of our main character, Wade Watts. Wade is a boy living in a pretty poor area of Columbus, Ohio. He lives in a place called the Stacks. The Stacks are multiple mobile homes stacked on top of each other with steel supports. Wade goes to school in the Oasis, but likes to spend time outside of school in the Oasis trying to figure out how to get the money. In the Oasis, everyone has an alter ego or avatar. For example, Wade is known in the game as Parzival. Some of the puzzles include playing old arcade games like Joust, playing a role in a movie called War Games, or even being trapped inside a video game called Black Panther. There's even a puzzle based on the late 70s Rush album called 2112. As Wade progresses through the puzzles, a group of bad guys notice him and try to take information from him. At first, they try to make a deal, but when Wade refuses to work with him, they try to kill him by blowing up the Stacks. Wade makes friends with a group of fellow gunters, that is what they call the people who are searching for this money, and together they help each other survive. With big companies and the odds stacked against him, will Wade and his friends win the prize? Read the book to find out. And now for my mini research project, The History of VR. People have always liked the idea of experiencing new and exciting places, but traveling is expensive and time-consuming. Yet people have always wanted to escape the mundane. This is why virtual reality has such a massive appeal. Although VR headsets are relatively new technology, the concept has been around forever. Like in 1939, the Viewmaster became popular. We've all played with a Viewmaster, right? The Viewmaster takes two overlapping images to give a sense of depth and intensity. This may not be VR, but it is what inspired what we have now as virtual reality. And in 1960, the first head-mounted display, or HMD, was made by a man named Morton Heelig. This was used for viewing film. 1 year later, the first real VR with a screen for each eye and a magnetic motion tracking system called the HeadSight was created. It was linked to a camera. By 1968, the first HMD connected to a computer and not a camera was created. It was called the Sword of Damocles, and it was huge and hung from the ceiling. For a number of years, VR did not play a major role after this. Computers became very popular. In 1989, VR hit arcades, and big companies like Nintendo and Sega began to take notice. Sega attempted to make a VR headset in 1993, but ended up not releasing it because it was too expensive to produce and for the average person to buy. And then in 1995, Nintendo made the Virtual Boy. This was their attempt at a VR headset. It was a flop. People complained that it made them nauseous and you had to be in a very uncomfortable position to use it. In 2012, Oculus created their Kickstarter, and this was a massive Kickstarter. They got a lot of backers and got $2 million. And then later they sold their company, Oculus, for $2 billion to Facebook. And since then, many companies have been trying their hand at VR, like Sony, HTC, and Valve. Will a VR headset ever become a household item? Will we all live in the Oasis? Only time will tell.